This is the called meeting of the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee of the Del Mar College District, and I will call this meeting to order, and I'll do the roll call. Dr. Turner?
Here.
Regent Hutchinson?
I'm here.
And I'm Libby Averett, and we do have all members present. Let's have a moment of silence, and we will follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if you all will join me in reading the Del Mar College Vision Statement. Del Mar College will be the premier choice of life-changing educational opportunities provided by responsive, innovative faculty and staff who empower students to improve local and global communities. Del Mar College is streaming live audio and video from the official Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee meeting on the college's website in real time, with the exception of portions of the meeting considered as closed session by statute. And we did provide the opportunity for the public to submit public comments, and I've been informed that we do not have any public comment for today's committee meeting. So we'll move into our items for discussion and possible action, and the first item is the approval of minutes for our last called meeting, which was on April 29th of 2021. Those minutes are in your packet. If you have had a chance to review them, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So we will continue with our business in reviewing all of our information as we work toward a draft of recommendations to submit to the full board. And up for consideration today is we wanted to go through the recommendations that were given to us by Weaver, and I believe everybody's got a printed out copy of those recommendations. And I talked to Mr. Rivera earlier, and we thought we would just really go through these since this is new material for us to consider, and the board has asked that we do that pretty much section by section. So with that, let's just dive in. And Mr. Rivera, I will ask you to guide this conversation for us if you don't mind.
Sure, Regent Misconduct, to be happy to. Let me say, just to let you all know about the status of the work that we talked about at the end of the meeting. So what we are doing is taking all of your input and recommendations and suggestions and actually trying to put together a revised set of the bylaws. Okay, it's not quite ready, but after today, what I've told Regent Averett is sometime in the next week or so, we ought to be able to circulate that, I mean, before the next meeting, so that you all have an opportunity to actually review it in advance of the meeting. So that's where we're headed. And
may I ask a clarification?
Sure.
Not just a revision of the bylaws, but any corresponding changes we may need to make to the policies and code of ethics as well. Okay,
right.
Thank
Everything that you would, it will be a first rough draft for you to consider of all the changes that are encompassed within your work. That is revision of the bylaws as well as, revisions to any policies.
And are we going to get a red-lined blue color, something that shows us what's been changed,
Yep.
struck out? Okay,
It's
perfect.
It's red right now, so there are no blues, but but just wanted to let you all know that that's how we're progressing with this. But wanted to get the input from these recommended policies. You've seen them before, so let's dive right into it. This is what was presented by Weaver together with some others. Number one is sort of, it's preambly. It's it's sort of what I was suggesting and recommending last time. I think it's good, but you all tell me whether you think there's anything in there that you don't like, or anything in there that you particularly like, want to make sure is included?
And you're speaking specifically about Policy 1 ethical standards, which basically just defines what that is and why it's important for us to have them.
I mean, it's a little, if we're just talking about paragraph 1, I mean, that's got some do nots in there. And I guess I'm just not sure about the very last sentence. Let's see, I'll go to line 11 and 12, where it says, Regents do not request or demand action that violates any law. I guess that's just to make it clear, obviously we can't violate any law, board policy, so I'm just not sure why it puts out specifically you can't request or demand that. Definitely that's not good. You can see what I'm saying? I mean, is it obvious that we can't or shouldn't or don't violate any law, board policy, and procedure? Is that why that's not in there? Why is this not obvious? I'm just not quite sure about that sentence.
Seems like they're, like it's an attempt towards the Hippocratic Oath sort of thing, do no harm.
Do no harm.
But it is phrased very strongly, and
It didn't, I will say it didn't strike me as being too strong, and I would hope it's obvious that we shouldn't ask of anything or demand any action that violates any law. But I'm not sure that it hurts to emphasize that. And especially speaking as, you know, a regent who came on without any board experience of this type, I think that's helpful. I mean, yes, is that the way I would operate anyway? Probably so. I would hope
Right,
so.
but it's less obvious than just not violating something. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that.
So,
Again, it didn't bother me, but go ahead.
yeah, well, when I was going through it and figuring out where these take place inside our document that we already have, I actually didn't make any comments on number 1. I thought it was already suggested in what we already exist. So I didn't think that we actually needed to add that. So I was just very neutral on number 1 because, again, I saw it within what we already have written. So I just didn't make any comments toward 1. Now the other ones, I made comments and so forth in placement of what I thought that was missing from here, but I did not think number 1 was missing from what we had.
So I'm sorry,
I didn't think we needed to add number 1 because I saw it within it's blended. It's not straightforward, but it's already blended in what we have already stated.
so does it
make
maybe
sense?
duplicate what we
Yeah,
already
that's what I
have? Yeah, I mean, I
thought.
would want to avoid that, sure.
So I did not have that as something that we needed to add to our existing document.
When, Dr. Turner, when you say our existing document, are you referring to our bylaws? or
Yeah,
our
I'm
code
looking
of
at the
ethics?
bylaws that we have right now that are current. When I was reading here, we have that integrated already. So unless we wanted to, so if we wanted to take number 1, then as we read through here, we have to kind of watch for that language in other parts of the document for duplication.
Right,
Does
and
that
I
make-
think that that's what Mr. Rivera will be doing and bringing back to us as he harmonizes the policies with the code of ethics with the bylaws. Because all 3 are separate documents that serve separate purposes, if I recall, Mr.
Right,
Rivera, from what
right.
you defined for us a few weeks ago. Right. But you're right, he will need to make sure that we're not saying one thing in a policy and describe it in a different way in the bylaws.
Yeah.
Right,
So it may
So-
show up more than one place,
Yes.
but it needs to do so consistently.
right.
Yeah.
And it won't
So-
be the exact paragraphs or
right.
Oh, no, no,
anything.
no.
Right,
But yeah, so I just left it alone. saying,
Okay.
We really don't need that.
okay.
Okay.
What about lines 13 through 17?
I just had a question about confidentiality of anything during board committee meetings. I mean, these are open.
The meetings
Well,
are,
no.
but if you were to go into closed session, for example,
And we already have that already in here, so was another,
But to Susan's point, I
Yeah,
think
that's right.
it should say during closed board or committee, during closed
any
board
closed
meetings or
session.
during any, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I got
Closed
you.
session
Any
of a
close-
board meeting or
right.
committee meeting, something
Right.
like that, okay.
right,
It just made me think, whoa, why would-
right, good point. That we're talking about closed sessions in either committee or board meetings,
Exactly.
right?
Okay.
And then just on the last line, I just want to be conscious of, sometimes we're calling it, or they are calling it official misconduct, and sometimes it's ethical misconduct. I don't know if those are different things. Do you think those are different, Augie?
They
or
are. Official
okay.
misconduct is actually from statute.
Okay,
that's a-
that's the distinction,
Yep,
okay.
it's a ground for removal.
Okay. I mean, it defines, on the next page,
Right.
official misconduct. I don't think it defines ethical misconduct, do we?
And do we need to make a distinction?
Would you like to add ethical?
Or do we need to
Official and
do
ethical
we need
misconduct?
to add a definition, or
or-
do we need to, I guess if they're different?
Well, perhaps, Mr. Rivera, that's where the difference is between misconduct under the statute and then our aspirational conduct that we may want, that may not be punishable by statute, but may be a higher standard that
Okay, so
we,
maybe we just need another definition.
perhaps,
So,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay,
Noted.
good, thank you. Okay, let's move on then to section 2, under Regent Misconduct. Thoughts there?
Yes, I mean, we looked at other documents that other colleges have, and they do kind of talk about regent misconduct. So, I mean, some of the things, that you had concerns about, it could just be in that section too, where you have the definitions and it's more broad. But I definitely think that we need to add this piece to ours.
yeah, I really like the step by step. Here's the first call, second call, how you escalate it and do that. I liked that.
Mm-hmm. And it's very clear, I thought.
I had one sort of funny just drafting on line 3. It says the board may find that ethical misconduct has occurred by majority vote. I mean, it kind of sounds like majority vote
Is the,
modifies it, that it occurred. We all voted.
the board by
By
majority
majority
vote,
vote, we decided, yes.
The
let's
board,
go forward with this
comma,
misconduct.
by majority vote, comma.
Right, so I
Right.
think, yeah, I would move that up to the front.
Yeah, just, you, both of you saw what we liked about this particular
Mm-hmm.
provision, is that it provides a step process, and it's clear. It's clearer than what you have now.
I did like that.
And I thought it would best serve if it's placed under board duties and responsibilities, because it has to do with action and behavior. I don't know what your thoughts were.
When it says on line 34 and 35, sanctions may include but are not limited to, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, are there any other, what else could we do? So I think it is limited to. I might take out the, but it would imply to me, okay, tell me what else we got out there. It says it's not limited to these 4 things.
So just take out the but are not limited to.
I mean, I'd like to think there were some other things, but I don't know what they are. Might.
Well, not to split hairs, but I wonder too, because here we say ethical misconduct. I wouldn't want to do anything that, because sometimes ethical misconduct will also be official misconduct.
True.
That could also be penalized, or sanctions could include stronger actions if it's official misconduct.
Yeah, would the sanctions be different, Augie, do you think? Would the sanctions be different for official or ethical?
So ethical misconduct would subject a regent to, again, these enumerated options being removed from, or being taken off of a committee, or limiting your travel and fee reimbursement, or censure for ethical misconduct. If it's official misconduct under statute, then that can be a grounds for for a removal
Criminal
action.
penalties and removal, okay.
So I wonder if maybe we need a line there that just says, official misconduct, you know, is
Sanctions for
sanctioned, yes.
ethical misconduct, yeah, I like that.
Just something that says, you know, the sanctions are greater for official misconduct.
Now, my only concern is, are we gonna have a list? Who's gonna decide what's official and what is ethical?
Well,
I think
the
it's whether it's in the statute or not. If it's in
the statute outlines official misconduct.
Okay. So
And then-
should we have that in here for transparency purposes, or no?
I would assume you would cite the law.
Yeah, maybe next to the definition, we can,
But I'm just saying, just for clarity, I mean, I don't know that, I mean, I understand one statute and one is, what the board thinks. So, the board may think differently than me, you know.
Is the list, Susan, you and Augie may know this, is the list of what constitutes official misconduct in statute, is it lengthy?
no, it's actually very general. I mean,
And it's probably based on criminal proceedings, correct?
that or, I mean,
I mean, it
the
would,
one requirement you have that's clear is you have to attend meetings. But
So it's official misconduct to not attend meetings?
50%, you're required to attend at
Okay.
least 50% of your meetings in a calendar year.
Mhm.
After that, and they have to be unexcused absences. So that may be something we need to consider, you know, maybe you want to be clear about what constitutes excused or not, or not, you know, I mean.
yeah, because we talked about that last time, too.
But if you're not showing up for meetings, or if you're in a committee and you're not doing the work and you're just being derelict overall, then that would constitute official misconduct. But it's anything where you're not carrying out your duties.
Right, okay.
I mean, I would like those listed somewhere
If they're not that long.
exhaustive,
Well, I guess
yeah.
at the state level, we had to spell it out. Teachers need to know what was ethical and what was
Sure.
not, because we were pulling licenses. So if you're gonna remove me from office, I need to know exactly what I'm being removed for. I'm just, I don't know, yeah, just from past experiences that the board had with other individuals.
Well, and like
You
you
know.
said, Dr. Turner, I think it's good for transparency, because then it's here in black and white. We don't have to go look up the statute somewhere, which most of us lay people don't know how to do that
Right.
anyway.
So, well, you took the thought right out of what I was going to say next. Let's remember, though, there is a distinction, Dr. Turner, between, I mean, you're a professional. Regent Hutchinson and I are professionals, and as part of that professional credentialing, you know, we have to play by certain rules. The whole concept, and I've heard Dr. Eskamiya say this time and again, you know, the concept of a lay board as opposed to a professional board. You know, you're volunteers to some extent. You're volunteering your time and service, and so I don't know that the standard is as high as, you know, you see what I'm saying?
I know, but I'm just,
For you all.
yeah.
Now, that's not to say you don't have rules that apply to you, and I see Regent Neighbor thinking, well, maybe we should be, but just think about it. I mean, you know, we have to go to law school and take a bar exam, and you have to go get your degree and take an exam to be
Oh,
credentialed.
yeah, I didn't take my
You all don't have to
comps.
do that as regents. I mean,
Yeah.
Although this is, it's such a public trust, there's just sort of a
Well,
whole
there-
other level. of-
Right.
Yeah.
With,
I'm not talking you off or away from that. I'm just trying to make a
Distinguish.
distinction.
Okay.
and it's a fair distinction, but I also think what we're talking about here is ethics and not skills per se. So
Yeah,
it's
we're not talking about
right.
that.
It's not like I have to have
Fair
the
enough.
specific continuing knowledge that you do as an attorney, but there's no reason, you know, my ethics can't be held to as high a standard as a licensed professional
Or higher,
or higher.
because you're an
Right.
elected official.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
You're
good
always-
conversation. I will, I've noted that, and maybe we can come up with a list of duties that way, even if they're not as
Just-
extensive.
I mean, it just has to be vague. It's something for, I mean, this is our guiding, this is our
Right.
BOP. I mean, this is what guiding us and for future. And I think definitions would be pertinent, especially making sure people know the difference between official and ethical.
Mhm.
I think we need to have both of them in here too.
Good. Good discussion, thank you. Okay, if you turn the page, number 3 is prohibited actions.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to miss something. There's no way we will list every single thing.
No, but I think just having a general statement like
Yes.
they have here, I thought this was also missing and important too. I don't know what your experiences are though. Is this something that is needed or?
I think it's
not?
needed. The one part I did underline that I felt was a little vague is starting on line 9 and 10, a regent who receives an unsolicited benefit that he or she is prohibited from accepting may donate the benefit to the Del Mar College Foundation. I'm not entirely sure
No.
what an unsolicited benefit
Now,
is.
is that considered a lunch? Is there a dollar amount? Because
Right.
in K through 12 there is a $5 limit. I mean, we cannot accept
Mm-hmm.
gifts, and we can't do this. And here's a gift. I want an A. You just can't do that.
I mean, unsolicited benefit,
Is
is that a Christmas present that somebody sends me that's worth $100 that I'm supposed to take to
Yeah.
the foundation?
So you don't have to give it back.
donate it?
You could donate. I know, I'm
I
not
know,
sure.
but this is statute, correct? Or is this opinion?
I'm not sure.
So we might want to see just what
Yeah.
the statute is and just follow the statute.
I'm not
Then-
sure that the statute will be
Helpful.
clear enough
Yeah.
on what
Are-
we
are-
can
are-
and can't do.
Are you concerned that even donating it would be pressure?
Yes, and I'm also feeling like that this is a little unclear if we just say unsolicited benefit. My personal feeling is, and I don't necessarily think everybody will agree with me on this, I wish we did have something as black and white as you can accept no benefit over
a dollar amount. but that would-
$25, whatever we want to set that at, whether it be a meal or a,
Because unsolicited it would be, oh, I didn't really want that, thank you though.
right,
know,
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, no,
It's
no,
a little
no,
funny because
no.
it makes it sound like it's okay to take a solicited
Mhm.
benefit. I don't
Let
know
me
why
get
it's not
some
just a benefit.
Yeah, I'll get some clarification for you on
Okay.
that. It's a little awkward, and I'm not recalling, what we based that on. And I think to your point, even if you donate it, the appearance of having been affected by
Yeah,
it.
why not just return
Return
it?
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just say
Right.
no.
Right.
But things come in
Or
the
do-
mail, people get, you get Christmas
Yeah,
cards,
why not
might get
just
a
return
gift
it?
card in there.
But if we have a pretty clear black and white rule
Yeah.
about it, then we let people know, and the college can help us let people know, don't give the regents anything. They
Right.
can't accept anything.
No gifts. And I'm okay with 0. I'm okay with paying for my own coffee, paying,
Me too.
just because people are always watching. We're always on display.
Good questions.
Line 12 and 13, and I
Mhm.
know we've talked about this before, but we talk about the college not employing a former regent for at least a year, and then, of course, we've talked about the cooling off period
Right.
if a regent goes to work for any vendor. Anything else in those 3 paragraphs under prohibited actions?
Do we, is somewhere there's defined close relatives?
Good point. Especially in this town, that's a very good point. Lots
Yeah,
of
you get-
relatives.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but we can. And that's common, as you saw, some of the bylaws and policies that you all reviewed have that. I mean, they have the levels of consanguinity, which is basically the
And
general
it could
rule.
be as defined in, I mean, if there is a statute or something, I mean, it doesn't have to, if if it's cumbersome, we could refer
little
to
bit,
something
but-
else, but.
But we can,
yeah.
we can summarize it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's
Okay.
commonly found in other bylaws.
Dr. Eskamiya, may I ask you, are you comfortable with the provision that the college may not employ a former regent until at least the first anniversary? Or is that a long enough time in your mind?
Yeah, I'd have to look at what other colleges are. It doesn't strike me. It doesn't strike me as a short period of time. It does seem like
Reasonable.
enough time, because a lot of times, or I say a lot of times, what I've seen around and including here at the college is certain expertise that a regent brings and credential can fit very nicely in the adjunct pool and so forth.
Right.
And that really benefits everyone. And a lot of time, and what has happened in the past is a regent who was a prior adjunct faculty joined the Regents and then went back in the adjunct pool. And worked out very nicely for everyone.
And I don't
So-
see where there's any abuse there. It's not like while you were on the board, you set up getting hired as an adjunct. I think
No.
that's gonna happen.
No.
No.
That's not, but so the short answer is I think yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, even at the state level, we have to wait a year just to lobby,
Right,
come back, do anything.
Eh.
For TEA.
right.
I couldn't work for TEA for a year.
Right.
Can't do anything. I can go to meetings, but that would be it.
Okay,
For
good.
a year.
Okay, so moving on, here is where we have our definitions, and we've got official misconduct here, and we may be adding a
Ethical misconduct.
definition of ethical misconduct.
Yeah, I think that
I'm
would be
sorry.
nice to add
Libby,
that
can
in
I-
here.
Can I go back to the last paragraph?
Please. Oh, sure.
I just hit, trying to make sure, I think one of the things you mentioned was hiring regents. Do they have to be independent contracts or working for vendors? Do we talk about any of those issues, or is that different? I mean, we're not,
We're definitely going to include former regents working for contractors somewhere. I don't know if it will be here,
Got
but
it.
it will be
Okay,
there
perfect.
somewhere.
Okay.
Well, this would be the best place though
Probably,
to put
yes.
that.
Probably so.
I think that's important to add.
Okay, now, back to where you were.
Thank you.
The definitions are based, if they're not literally what's in statute, they're based on what's in statute.
Okay.
The definition.
But I can also guarantee that there'd be no way to enforce that.
What's that?
There would be no way to enforce that, or we just setting up the standard. I mean, if
Would-
I quit and got a job with a contractor that, I mean, there's nothing to, I mean, how are you gonna stop me from being hired by somebody that is building?
No, we're
mean-
not, no, when it comes to contractors, what our provision will say is something along the lines that employer with that contractor, that employee who was the former regent, can't be the person doing business with Del Mar for that cooling off period. So the company still can, that's fine. You're right, we can't interfere in who somebody goes to work for, but we can say, for a period of a year or whatever the cooling off period is, Del Mar will not do business directly with
With
that
that
employee.
employee.
Yes,
But they can still influence on that end if they wanted to, and gotcha. Okay.
right.
Not foolproof, but probably the best we can do.
Mhm.
Sounds good,
So
okay.
maybe we need to add that word directly
Right,
to clarify, and this is kind of muddy for me, so.
there will be some whole new language around
I think
that
that-
in addition
that
to
directly, I
what's
think
here,
that's a
yes.
good word to put in there.
Okay, under official misconduct, we may add then some more of what's in the statute as far as specific actions that are prohibited. We'll add the definition of ethical misconduct, which I'm curious how you're going to define ethical misconduct, but
I'm sure there's a definition
I trust
somewhere.
that you'll
I'm sure that will.
either
will-
find
that
something
we-
in statute or weave all the best together.
I'm sure, I
I
think.
will have something
some of
for
the-
you all to consider.
There you go. Work your magic.
Mr. Rivera, so the definition of of all of these, abuse of office, incompatibility of office, law relating to the office, are those all based on statute?
Yes.
Okay. Are there other definitions that we feel like we may need to include besides ethical misconduct?
How about conflict of interest? We do use that up there at the
Oh,
top.
that's good.
If we, going on page 6, in a little bit, you're gonna cover the conflict of interest
Oh,
abstention.
Oh, that's right. We've got more.
But, it certainly doesn't, I mean, it probably is very helpful to have it defined.
Mhm. And I would put it here with all the other definitions, so if
That's a
people
good
don't
idea.
have to hunt for it, we
I
might
agree.
make it very easy for
I
them.
think it's a great suggestion.
Good. Okay, moving on to page 3, policy 4, Regent email and official communications. The question that I had here is whether there is a document retention policy for Regent email.
There
And-
is, and
and-
you probably need to be
And if
explicit
so, if
about
we
that.
could include that there.
There's an overall document retention policy by statute that we're required to keep records, so let's be specific about that so
Yeah.
that,
Any of the documents that, which I would think email is pretty much it, that staff is not taking care of, but anything that we might have or produce, it needs to be spelled out for us somewhere what our responsibilities are for retention.
It's really good. I agree.
And are there any statutes now regarding text messaging?
the general rule is that any communication, text, Instagram, Snapchat, that has to do with college business is a college record. It's a public record. I don't know that you're communicating with each other via Instagram, but
No, but it's more
I just-
likely that
But
we
text.
will via text.
Facebook post? I mean, if it has to do with official college business and you're communicating with each other.
I mean, to me, it's text is the only one I
Yeah.
can think of that would be an issue that, because I don't have a separate phone number.
Right, none of us do.
Yeah.
Or that I know of. So the question is, what are our responsibilities on our personal devices?
I would say to maintain your text messages, and I think those are maintained by your provider anyway. I mean, those are kept, but,
Who knows?
yeah.
Where's our
um,
tech?
I think, my general approach to this is that I would discourage
Right.
the use of texting for official, I mean, if you're gonna email each other, that's fine, because that can be documented and it's easy to keep, but if you're gonna be texting, as,
I mean, I'm
as-
mostly getting reminders of meetings.
Right, I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
what constitutes
yeah, that's-
official
I'm
business?
not concerned about the notices.
Okay.
Where you text another regent about your thoughts on,
Right,
on
yeah,
an
that
issue.
probably
or-
didn't.
Probably
okay.
not a good idea to be using text for that kind of,
Okay,
Something of
communication.
substance, okay.
it's easier to keep track of and all that.
I agree.
okay.
Because if, it has happened, I mean, I'll just say it, I mean, there have been requests in the past for Regents communications about a
Right.
matter.
Right, that's
And then
what I'm anticipating.
Yep.
I just think we should mention texts in here
Mhm.
somewhere, since it's
Or,
such a common
Y'all
mode
may
of
wanna,
communication.
you may want to, as a committee, recommend to the board let's not use text messages.
Yeah.
Just-
Or, and probably expand it to, or other social media or whatever is the, again, I
Or-
don't think people are communicating substance over Instagram with each other, but next month, there's gonna be a whole new, somebody's gonna invent a whole new
There's,
thing to replace text.
there's messaging within social media
Yeah.
that's direct too, and
Yeah.
it acts like text.
Right.
iMessaging.
Yeah, the iMessaging and so forth, so it exists in a different form already.
Right. So let's
I'm
just
sure
talk
there's
about
10 more
general.
forms that I don't even know about, because
Right.
I don't keep up as much as I.
It's certainly easier, and you don't have to worry about it if you don't
Yep.
do it, and if
Right.
you have a policy that addresses that.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, good, thank you.
Yes.
So we're gonna add something about personal devices, I think, and just have a blip there.
What do you mean?
Well, are we gonna add anything about texting?
Mhm.
Yes.
So should we so would it fall under personal devices? Or do you just want text messaging and just put a statement there? You know, cause how they just kinda have official communication and social media posting, so I didn't know if you wanted a little piece that says policy, personal devices or not.
I think the line's gonna be, what's gonna be added is discouraging the use of any of those things for
Okay.
Del Mar business.
Right.
And with regard to emails, to limit it to your official email, is that?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
The issue's not the device as much as it is the method,
method.
the
Or the address,
channel.
or the- yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. I was glad to see the line about that we shall use our official DMC email.
Yes.
I had the experience recently where somebody emailed my work email about a Del Mar question, and so I returned it out of my Del Mar email and just said, for future reference, here's
Use
my Del
this.
Mar College
That's a really
address,
good
please
idea.
use it. Okay, social media. So, Mr. Rivera, we talked very briefly about some of the ongoing review around free speech. Should we even consider this right now? Is this separate from what's being considered with the courts? Or do you think this is all okay for now?
Yeah, this doesn't really necessarily, this was an attempt to address a concern that was raised about, and not even necessarily Del Mar, but I mean, when do public officials cross the line by commenting and posting on social media about official college business? You all know me, I'm a free speech person, so I think we all are. But that's why Weaver put it together, because there's been a concern raised about, how far should Regents be allowed to go in the use of social media?
I don't have any problem with these
Yeah,
paragraphs.
I don't either, but I don't know enough about those constraints. It doesn't seem, all of this is like, you can say it, you just have to say that it's your
Be
opinion.
very clear that
I
you're
don't
not
think that
This
could
is-
be a violation of free speech, but,
This does not violate that. It's
yeah,
just,
okay. That's,
I-
I think, what the main thing.
Okay,
I do question that the second and third, sort of lines 18 to 25, it flips to the second person. I don't know why we,
okay.
I think the whole rest of the thing has been third person, Regents do this and Regents' opinion, or I would just check on those yours and yous.
oh, good
Well,
point.
there was, because there were a couple of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, gotcha. It's not like it's
Yeah.
wrong, it's just, it looks like it was
Keep it
done
Good
by
point.
committee.
Yep,
Keep it third person.
very good point. And I do like the reminder about the logo and mascot
Yeah,
being copyrighted,
Yeah.
trademarked. Okay, good. Any other thoughts there?
Now, I didn't notice in our current bylaws, is there anything about written material, like articles? You know, because
Oh.
I've been asked twice now to write something in a newsletter since I'm now, because, you know, I represent District 4 and they have their own publications. And I've been asked twice to write something about, you know, Del Mar. Can you, you know, what's going on? Tell us what's going on. You know, it's like, I'll get back to you.
I mean, the practice has been that the chair speaks for the regents, but I don't know where that's written.
Yeah, but they're just asking me because I'm District 4. I represent a district, and they're just asking, you know, hey, what's going on? Like, you know, hey, we're doing this, or I mean, I just said, they keep asking me every time I show up, hey, are you gonna send us something? Because, you know, like other elected, you know, Todd Hunter makes the comments about what's going on, and, you know, obviously it's not going to be anything unethical. It wouldn't be anything. It's just like, hey, you know, we're promoting these programs. Hey, you know, check us out, or hey, you know, it would be. But I have stayed away from it. So I just didn't know if you had anything, because I'm not an at-large regent. I'm in this one area that's very independent. So what do I do?
the custom of the board has always been that the chair speaks for the board on official board matters. But what you're describing sounds like it could be a worthwhile report to the
Well, I
community.
wanted to communicate
And
with the
in your
people that
district, right.
supported me in my district. It's like, yeah, you know, we got money and we got new programs,
Right.
you know, just to give a good shout out for Del Mar. Like, hey, we're going back face to face for, you know, just updates about what we're doing. But
And Regents have penned op-ed pieces,
Right.
again, not advocating for or against.
no, I wouldn't be
but
talking on
being
any
informative
issues.
about the bond.
That would be just
The
a good
bond
question,
initiatives.
is making sure that line, because it
There's
seems
a
to me
line
there's a
there.
line that could be
Yeah.
crossed.
Yeah, and I don't want
So
to cross
it's
that
really
line.
close between, we've got
And
this
this
new
would not be
program
like,
and.
this is not campaigning anything.
right.
This is just giving a shout out about what we're doing and what to expect and what's going on.
So
And
do we
we-
have written in our policies
That's what I s-
anywhere that the chair speaks on behalf of the
I
board?
don't think so. I think it's been custom and practice of the board. that the
So,
chair-
I mean, I would be in favor, I think that's a good practice and custom and policy to have, that the chair speak on behalf. However, I think it would be appropriate to say the chair or her or his designee, because in
District.
this case, I think it is a good opportunity for us to communicate to a segment of our constituents, and that Dr. Turner perhaps is the best person to do that. And I wouldn't want us to lose that opportunity
Oh, yeah,
Right.
because
for good
it-
marketing.
What if it had to go through the chair?
Right, that's what I'm
You write it.
suggesting. That's what
Carol
I'm
approves it.
suggesting. Is,
And if it crosses that line, she doesn't approve it.
well, and that in
It won't.
consultation with the chair and
Exactly.
college communications.
So
Right.
that's what I was- yeah. What do you
Mark,
think?
Dr. Eskamiya?
Just that, you know, I think of immediately the PIBA and the Flower Bluff Business Association and
Well,
all those
also
kinds
they
of-
have the Republican people in there, and they're like asking for stuff too. So
And
I
s-
mean, it's, you know, but yeah. So they're just asking, yeah. So where's that line to help promote Del Mar, but also tell them what I'm doing because they voted me in? Does that make sense? So they want
Well,
to
s-
hear about what's going on. So I don't know, how do I do that? Yeah, I know it's sticky fingers, and I've stayed away from it, but they keep.
Well,
They
the-
say, well,
the business associations, I can just speak from a historical
Yeah.
context, and I mean, the business associations have called us, administration and regents, over the years. And so that's, but
yeah,
those are business associations
yeah.
that are just generally about
So,
Regents that have been members of Rotary Club, for example.
yeah,
have,
and
you know,
they might
gotten up
write a
and-
little,
What Regent Averett said was what I was thinking. I don't know that you can come up with specific parameters. You would just parameter yourself to death. I mean, try, so instead of being technical about it, just make it consultation with the chair. That way you're honoring the custom and practice of the board, which has been to allow the chair to be the spokesperson. And then just hope that everybody comes to it in good faith and you don't have a disagreement about it. But
Right.
at least you're setting up something.
Right, I like that.
I had a request, now granted, I'm in an at-large position, but I had a request for an interview on a radio show, I believe, or podcast, and I referred them to Carol. And she took care of it. Your situation may be a little bit different, so,
so we have District 3, I mean, sometimes, we have different districts that are supporting that, you're District 2, right, District 3?
Yeah, but I guess they should all be getting the same information. But
Right,
but you're right.
that's right.
To go into, where they never see your face, or you're never presenting it, it seems appropriate to present it, but I just think it has to be clearly the word of the board and the chair, even if it's your byline.
right, I
And
think it
so-
has to be in consultation with the
Yeah.
chair.
And I can see crossing that line very subtly and unintentionally. And it would be the chair who would say, this does not speak for the whole board, if the line were crossed. How about that?
I mean, I think we're gonna have to have some discussion around
Yeah.
that.
Can you
For
see
sure.
what
Question.
maybe other
Yeah.
colleges have and what they, I don't know.
All I've ever seen is that the chair serves as the spokesperson for the board and, you know,
But I also want to represent and be able to communicate with like the constituents of that district.
We're all in that boat to a certain
Yeah.
degree. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, where's the line from somebody stops you in the grocery store to give a speech, to write an article?
right.
I think it's a good topic. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, well, it's been, I've been staying away from it. But I know I'm gonna go to a meeting and that's, hey, when are you gonna give me something to put in our little, publication about, yay. Yeah. Or do I do it as a private person, but how do I do that as a
No,
private
no,
person?
it's
I
not.
You really
It's-
can't.
But it's not a private person.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, I hear you. I think we can come up with something that,
And I don't mind discussing it with Carol, say, hey,
I think that's a good idea.
the island Republican people, they asked me to write a little something, and based on our last board meeting, this is what we're doing, so I was just gonna put a little snit, here it is, what do you think? So.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
we need to talk about that as a
Yeah.
board, because that has not been our practice in the past. Okay, back to,
Throwing it out there.
that's okay, no, that's
No,
good, thank
that's
you.
good.
Thank you, Dr. Turner.
It's-
Board,
can I just say, that's
Please.
being brought to you, you're raising it in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the board has history with it coming up in a negative way. where
Oh, no, I
Or
like,
an
you
after
know.
the fact way.
After the fact way,
no,
where
no,
there was
no,
no
I mean-
consultation
This is
and it
good.
was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So,
No, it's to promote what's going on,
Right.
and not only that, but some of the people have negative views, and I would like to turn those views around about the good things that we're doing and help promoting that way, and this is an opportunity to do that, so.
the issue that you will have to come to grips with, I mean, at some point, I'm not saying now, but that is, to what extent and to what degree do each of you have the right to be openly negative about the college or even
Yeah,
hostile about
see.
the college or the board?
and it may be appropriate, again, this needs to be discussed with the chair, and the rest of the board, but in that situation, it also may be appropriate for Dr. Eskamiya to be the spokesperson, because you're talking about what's going on at the college. You're our spokesperson for that.
That's what I was talking about earlier. That's what I've done. Been asked to go out and make those presentations and so forth. I see what you're saying, Dr. Turner, and that city councils and
They write
they
up
do,
stuff
but they're a
too.
municipality versus a college, and it's a.
I know it's different.
Yeah, so there is that, those different practices. I'm always glad to go, and/or team members go from college relations and/or specifics from the academics. We've done it all. We've done it all over the years.
Yeah, because whenever I go to meetings, they go, "Oh, Dr. Turner from Del Mar, you want to say a few words?" They do it all the time because you're
Sure.
an elected person. They'll just go right off.
Sure, sure.
And I'll just stand up and say hi. I go, "Hey, we're doing great things. Come look at the website or
Sure.
No, that's
come
a
to our
good-
meetings."
Good answer.
But but they ask me every time.
No,
Understood.
those are good answers, but this may also provide an opportunity now that Dr. Turner is more involved and you see what's going on, where she can help get some correct information out there to the public
Yeah, because they're asking.
with your participation, obviously,
Guidance.
Dr. Eskamiya. That's good. That's good.
I don't.
Okay. Board requests for information policy. The new information obviously is in blue, B2, 1.3.4. I have some concerns about this
Okay.
paragraph. Because what I'm not clear about is what if the information that's being requested is clearly public information?
So, and I'd written down notes, and I'm looking for I have 3 versions of this. Each of you retain your rights as a citizen,
Right.
or as a person, I should say, to be a citizen. You retain your rights as a member of the public to make a public information request.
Right.
But that means that goes through the Public Information Office and through that process, and what you're asking for may or may not be available to you.
Sure.
Depending, you may have to pay for it, but you go under that process. As a regent, you have a general right to access information that you believe you need in order to do your job,
Okay. Which may or may not be public information.
which may or may not be public information.
Okay.
And in that case, you go through the president's office.
Right.
And you confer, and you make the request there, and then the president looks at it. So the tricky part is, what if your request as a regent for information that you need is costly or time-consuming to put together? Then I think that's what was,
I understand that that was the intent here, but sometimes private citizen requests for public information are timely and costly.
right.
And the private citizen can decide whether or not he or she is going to pay for that.
Right.
I'd like something included that says, that makes it clear that we are not giving up our rights as private citizens.
I have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
to
I
file a
do.
public information request and pay for it if we want to.
That's in there. Oh,
Okay.
It's not in there, but that,
It will be.
yeah,
Add that, okay.
same,
Okay,
yeah, that's gonna be in there. That's the one, I made that note. So that will be included. But what do you all think about the rest of it? I mean, is the process clear enough? Is it too clunky? I mean, it's more process than we've ever had.
Yeah.
and why do we need it?
Because several years ago, the University of Texas was embroiled in a huge fight with one of their regents over requests for information that the university considered confidential, and and it was,
Okay,
remember the
I do remember that.
Consuming time
the Regent
of
Hall
staff
case? and it
Yes,
was
I do
just-
remember.
So, I think that's where this is coming from.
Okay,
It's more than I've seen other colleges have, frankly. I mean, it's not, but it sets up something to at least have steps that you go through in trying to figure this out.
I thought it came out pretty balanced, because
Okay.
I think it could go the other way, that you've got somebody saying, sorry, too costly. No, if you can get the rest of the board to say it's information you should have, then this is your way of making sure you get it. It's not just a way of denying requests, it's a way of making sure a request would go through.
Good, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That helps me
Yeah.
understand that,
But no,
with,
you're
with the
ri-
addition that you'll have about,
right, absolutely.
private
you're right.
citizen.
I was reading that earlier, and I said, you know what, we need to have something in here that makes it clear that you do retain the right as a member of the public to make that request.
Okay.
You just get out of the Regents mode, and you'll be treated like any other private citizen.
okay, good. Any other discussion on that item? Okay, moving on to board member orientation and training. What I underlined here is promptly. Do we
Right.
not have is it within a year? Do we not have a time limit?
For what?
It says the board and
How
CEO
soon
shall
you get
provide an
that
orientation
Yeah.
promptly after their election.
This is the onboarding that is provided in-house.
Yeah, and because we talked about this last time
Mhm.
too, about adding this, 'cause we had all sorts of things.
The,
Mm,
but you could, I mean, there's
Under-
nothing that prohibits you from saying,
Because this should be included, I think, in part of board duties and responsibilities is going through the orientation, complying with the trainings, right? Isn't this part of our responsibility? We have to do the ethics class, we had to do the financial class, you have to do the Open Meetings Act. I mean,
Mhm.
there are things that we are responsible for
Mhm.
doing within an amount of time frame. So, I mean, because there's things that we have.
I mean, I'm comfortable with the language within a year because I believe, isn't that the statutory requirement for
Some of it's
some of the
6
state
months.
training?
Some of it, yeah, some of it specifically. I think the promptly, the word promptly just, I know from our conversations that it comes from, various delays in the past and so forth, and our current chair has been very
Much better.
definitive about the criteria for moving very quickly, and it has changed dramatically
right,
here in the past couple of years especially, so.
the
So maybe it's
onboarding,
a I agree that it's sort of like, of course, we've got to do it within the statute. If there's a statute that says a year or 6 months, of course, I mean, we got to do that. But promptly sort of implies more than that. So maybe it's within, promptly and within statutory guidelines or restraints or something like that, if there's something else.
But I wouldn't call it orientation, because you call it onboarding, so I would call it what it is.
One is a subpart of the other. I think there's both that take place when we do an orientation, and then it starts getting starts delving deeper into the operations after that, so
I know,
I
I
think-
was given a PowerPoint,
yeah.
and then we set up meetings, so basically.
Yeah. It was tougher this year. It was
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
tougher this year.
Here's this, if you don't understand something, call me.
Yeah, yeah. It was
So,
definitely,
That was my orientation, but you didn't call it orientation, you just called it, here's your onboarding
Onboarding.
procedures.
yeah, yeah.
So-
It definitely looked different this year than it had in years prior where we
I mean,
sat
so
down
is there a difference between orientation and onboarding?
like,
I mean-
I don't wanna, I think other people have thought of the nomenclature more than I have. I just see them, one as a subset as the other. Obviously, orientation is, here we are here at the college, kind of bigger picture stuff, and then the onboarding I think the orientation should be done in the first meeting or very soon thereafter. Onboarding is then as you start going in and start having the different meetings with the business office, with the HR office, with academics and that sort of thing. And to me, it's the totality of the experience is the onboarding process. Not to mention, security,
Yeah, getting your
badges and those
parking
sorts
card
of
and-
things.
yeah.
Parking card, all that sort of thing.
That's part of orientation. So if you're gonna have orientation, cause you have training for number 8, so I would just put orientation and onboarding procedures and not put the training in there and make sure
Well, training's in the
that's-
second paragraph.
Yeah,
which is-
so
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
7 where it says policy board member orientation and onboarding procedures, and just cross off the training
But-
and
but-
add
but-
in that
But we've
piece
got
there.
training in the second paragraph, so I
Yeah.
mean, I think it needs to be in
Oh,
the
I see what you're
title,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I would move 32 and 33 into number 8 to keep it in sync then.
we might be able to
Oh, there you
consolidate
go.
all of
That's
this
a-
into
yeah.
one.
Yeah, you may
one
be able
paragraph.
to,
Just-
sure.
bring it together and just have
Right.
it all.
I
that's
understand
true. That's true.
the distinction of Section 8 is about our ongoing training that's
Mhm.
required too. But
So
if you think
can
there's a
have
better
initial
way,
training and ongoing training. I don't know.
I think you get what we're,
Yeah.
I
I
trust
would-
Mr. Rivera
It's
can
just clarity.
make sense of that for
Yes,
us.
good luck.
Because I
I
don't
would,
even know.
I would say, rather than promptly after election, make sure that's or appointment.
Thank you. Yes,
Some of us would never get oriented, right, Libby?
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
And you can use, yeah, do you need,
Or after
even
taking
need
the
that
oath.
word?
Yeah, yeah.
After
something like
taking
that.
the oath of office.
Mm-hmm, that's good.
There you go. That would work.
Okay, that's it for Weaver. Look at that, it's 5:30. So the
But
heavy.
I'm sorry, I got confused, because that's all you had for Weaver? That's all I had in my book, but then
Oh.
what you passed out today is
I'm
there's
sorry,
like 4 more
yeah.
pages.
There is?
Oh, no.
Oh, good, I was afraid I was the one who didn't finish your
Oh,
homework.
no.
Oh, no, I used to have 8.
There's 9, 10, 11, 12,
Oh, we
13,
don't have
Oh, no, it
14.
wasn't in our book.
So, but that may be good for next time.
Yes, I think,
All right,
yes, thank you. Pages 5 through
I think
9 are
11,
not in
that's
our
good.
book. That's why I was confused when you mentioned conflict of interest earlier,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it
I'm
was not
sorry.
in our book. Okay, now
I
I
really
think
was
we
working on my
should.
speech to explain why I hadn't
And-
done that.
And on the new one where it says policy board open meeting training, I would leave off open meetings and list the trainings that we need. We need open meetings act, then we also need, there's a financial meeting or training that we need. So I wouldn't have that board open meetings training. I would
separate.
just put training and have that within the paragraph.
Yeah, I think based on
Right.
y'all's review of this and the input, I think it ought to be a single training section.
Right, I
Yeah.
think that's
And
good.
then organize it,
You got the
Yeah.
concept.
because it's a little
Oh.
clunky the way it's set out.
Okay, our next meeting is already on our calendars for Thursday, June 17th, sorry, just scared everybody. Thursday, June 17th at 4:30. I think we should pick up the Weaver document now that we have the complete one, so that we'll have some time to review it before that meeting, because there are some pretty serious
The next
topics there.
yes.
that we need to discuss. And then also before that meeting, Mr. Rivera will have for us a draft of pulling all of this together. So we can start going through that. We will, at our next meeting, we will schedule a few more meetings. Remember that our goal is to have something to the board by the August meeting.
Getting there, it's
Yeah, we're
June.
getting there. I think we'll be able
So
to,
finish Weaver and then start looking at the pieces.
the whole draft that will be the code of ethics, the policies, and the bylaws.
And we'll start going line by line.
He will already have done that, so he,
'Cause I don't think we talked about everything though.
he will bring to us a consolidated document, if you will, that will have a revised code of ethics, revised bylaws, revised policies, that harmonizes all of that.
Harmonize, that's a good
Alright.
word. I like harmonize.
Yes.
How about this, how about if we set a deadline of, would Friday the 11th, now you all will be busy
Right.
that day with interviews in the morning,
Mhm.
but if that's okay, we'll set that as the deadline by which we will get to you, the draft.
Yes,
The Regent was talking about, so that gives you the weekend to look at it, and then a few days before the next meeting?
That'd
That's
be
great.
thanks.
Okay.
and
Could you give us a hard copy at the 11th?
Sure.
Would it be right, cause I'm like paper.
that, me too.
Thanks.
And Ms. Rivera, I'm going to invite Dr. Turner, if she'd like to contact you with some of her specific notes, because I know you've done a great job in going through line by line of the bylaws in particular. So please, feel free to reach out to him directly and
Okay.
make some of those notations for him, please.
Just-
I think that would be helpful.
As I say, we've got, we've started integrating and doing all that already. I mean, I've got kind of a, here it is.
That's good.
So, started that, some are easy, some aren't. but I want to make sure I capture everything, so
Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
be happy to go over with you.
And it may be helpful in that next discussion, and then also when we present to the board, just the reminder to everybody about these 3 separate documents and why we have 3 separate documents, the purpose of the code of ethics, the purpose of the bylaws, the purpose of the policies, so that we
would be
understand why we
very
have them
helpful.
and how they work together.
Could we have like a little introduction, a little preamble,
Yes,
right, with those 3 things?
perhaps?
Would that
Yeah.
be all right if we had a little preamble? Because I know some of the other colleges kind of have a little introduction piece. I don't know if that's, you know.
Probably not
So-
necessarily in the policies, but
But-
I mean, where I've got it now is under the bylaws,
Okay.
but
Yeah, that'd be fine. I mean,
um,
if there's this, yeah.
we might just have a common paragraph that's in policy in the bylaws
Yeah.
that just says, I mean, it's the same statement.
Yeah.
but in
Right,
both
board's
places.
actions and behaviors are governed by these 3. Right. Good,
Got it. Okay.
that's good. Any other comments?
No, because, yeah.
Good work, thank you all so much. Do we have any items for closed session, Mr. Rivera? No, I didn't think so. Dr. Eskamiya, any other business for us?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we will adjourn the meeting at 5:36 PM. Thank you all so much.